it is time for DeMarco Farr's all-decade Rams team.
See, that's like having a nickname like the Big Hurt. Now I got to live up to that, or the Big Unit.
Because you got a big Super Bowl ring?
Or oil can.
But, okay, I did not know. I thought that was a baseball thing.
Well, it is. Baseball players really like to name that.
I thought it just meant he was throwing filthy, slippery stuff.
No, it means people saw him and thought about oil cans.
Meanwhile, we return to Rams Super Bowl champion DeMarco Farr with his all-decade Rams team.
Okay, so it has been 10 years. 2016, 2025, that's 10
seasons. This will be season 10.
This will be so technically it's not 10 years.
No, it's not.
That's part of the thing why I put it as the almost all-decade team, because some of those guys can play their way onto this list this year.
Now it's time for DeMarco Farr's almost all-decade team.
Getting there. Hold on a minute. Okay, so let's just start at quarterback. That's the easiest one, right? There's only two. Two from this decade.
Are we having a backup on this roster or just one?
We have a QB1, QB2. Some don't have.
Yeah, that's easy.
Okay, so
although I will say, after spending some time with Jimmy G at Media Day, he is delightful.
Jimmy G's played one game.
He's
I like Jimmy G too. I'm sure he's a wonderful
awesome,
guy.
though, right?
He's a dreamboat.
You see why I could say he could be a starter for you.
But here's the thing. He doesn't walk in with the confidence he should. That's how nice of a guy he is.
Because he's the backup. But you could see him being the guy.
I don't even think it's that. I just think that's who he is.
I think he's playing.
Whereas Matthew Stafford walks in and like they say in Moneyball, something walked in 10 minutes ago.
He lights up the room.
Oh, yeah.
He knows what he's doing,
too.
Yeah. So the two quarterbacks obviously are
Matthew Stafford
and Jared Goff.
Okay.
Running backs, Todd Gurley, far and away the best running back of this decade, right?
Yeah.
Was the best player in the league at one point.
Yep.
And his backup would be of this decade. Go ahead and say it. I know it pains you. It pains a lot of people to say, but you're going to have to deal with it.
Oh, come on.
It is Kyren Williams.
What about number 30? Who was his name?
That was Gurley.
No. Oh, yeah, Gurley was number 30.
Yeah.
Who was the backup that came in?
C.J. Anderson.
C.J. Anderson.
He was barely here.
But I got him in parentheses.
He only played like 5 games.
But those were really good 5.
It was a hell of a run, and I told you, I put him on my all-solid AF list is Malcolm Brown. Another dude.
Yeah, Kyron's better than those guys.
Definitely, but Malcolm Brown was a big part of this football team for almost a decade. So, but the two would be Kyron and Todd Gurley. Left tackle, there is no backup. It's Witt. I would love to say AJ. I'm worried about his health right now. Alard Jackson.
It's Witt.
Right.
Yeah.
Hands down, no doubt. That's what I'm saying. This year, if he played out,
there's a huge gap between Alaric Jackson and Andrew Whitworth.
So,
Andrew Whitworth might end up in the Hall of Fame.
Left guard, I totally agree. Keep saying that louder and louder and louder.
Yeah.
Saffold, Edwards on my left guard. Center, remember Sully?
Oh, sure.
Old Sully, my guy.
By the way, it was a huge reason why that when Sean McVay first got that job back in 2017, they rebuilt that line in large part with not just Andrew Whitworth, but with John Sullivan at center. He came from Minnesota. He played every game. He was banged up, but he took a lot of the Jared Goff stuff off of Jared Goff's plate, took it on himself. He was a huge addition.
A very valuable center. And, played his way, couldn't walk towards the end.
No, he
gave everything he
jacked
could.
up.
Right guard, Corbett Dodson. Dodson, I think, is the best blocker now anyway.
Sunglasses.
Right tackle, again, it's one guy. It's Rob Havenstein. Tight end, Tyler Higbee, of course, and Gerald Everett.
I don't know if there is a second. If there is one, then it's Everett, but I don't know if Everett. How long was he here? 3 or 4 seasons?
4 seasons, I believe, yes.
Okay.
5 if you count the Chargers 1 year, but with the Rams, 4.
Yeah, I'll give him. Okay, yeah, he could be the second guy.
Which one? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, just for those who might not be Rams super fans, full names of these guys would be awesome.
Rob Havenstein, Tyler Higbee, Gerald Everett.
There's an opening for the second spot in the tight end. Put it that way.
Okay.
And if Ferguson can come in here and ball, I'm not saying he's going to get it in a year. He's not going to cover 10 years worth of work in 1 year.
It might be that kid.
But there's an opportunity. Tyler Higbee has been the one guy at that spot that has shined in the 9 years that they've been here. No one else has even made a passing impact.
Agreed. And you put 10 in the box, rookie, you're on the list.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Wide receiver. Okay, this could be a little iffy, I think.
I think there's 2 no-brainers.
Okay, you tell me. Go ahead.
Cooper Kupp for sure.
Yes.
And I think the second no-brainer is Robert Woods.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's 1 and 2 on my list.
Yes.
Now, you got 4. Go ahead.
Oh.
I get 4?
2 more.
Wow.
2 more.
Well, all right.
Don't do it.
So the next guy I'm going to put in there is Brandon Cooks.
Bing. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine.
The era of the Archer was real.
Brandon Cooks still is a pretty good football player.
Still playing.
Brandon Cooks changed games.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
For a while, was
Where
the
you
best
gonna go
weapon
now?
on offense.
You could go two ways.
And then fourth.
I'm curious what the second one is. The first one
Well, it's a
is
no-brainer.
Puka.
That's it.
Right.
What's the other way?
If you wanted to be a little bold,
Yeah.
because of his impact at that moment,
OBJ?
you could, based on the impact
Okay,
at that moment.
He played
I have him.
7 games,
But
8
the
games?
impact in that season, in that moment,
Chris, I got
are
him
they in that Super
It's
Bowl
Puka.
without OBJ?
I have another list called the what ifs, and he's
Interesting.
on it. Yeah,
Okay.
Brian
Interesting.
Quick is another one. Jamon Brown was
You
the
think
starter.
it's Puka?
No, Puka's on the list.
Puka's the
all
fourth?
decade. You have a year where you break records, you're on the list. You're on the list, no doubt.
OBJ was a Super Bowl
I'm-
year.
I put him down
They
as one
won
of the
the
biggest
Super
what ifs.
Bowl.
What ifs of the decade.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I want to argue with you. Okay,
Okay, go ahead.
We're talking about a 9-year window.
Yeah.
Puka Nakuma's been on the team 2 years.
That's-
and one of those years he missed half the year.
That's why I got him fourth. If I cut it
Okay.
down to 3 players only,
He's
he
the
wouldn't be
first to
on the
go.
list.
But
Absolutely.
one full year was the record-breaking year, the
Yes.
best year of a rookie of all
It was
time.
great.
That's why I gave
yeah.
you 4
Okay.
right there. Specialists, special teamers, returners, I got 2. Pharaoh Cooper went to the Pro Bowl. Remember him?
Are we pretending that game against Atlanta in the playoffs didn't happen?
Absolutely.
Because when you say Farrell Cooper,
That
a
comes
couple
up.
of things come to mind.
Right.
The first fumble and the second fumble, both in the same
But
game.
he wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have been there without
Yeah,
him.
that's
So
a tough
Pharaoh
one.
Cooper was there and Tavon
Can we not
Austin.
give Tavon Austin that gig?
Well, I got 2. So Pharaoh's my kick returner. Tavon is my punt returner.
Okay.
I couldn't pick between the 2.
Are you going kicker? You got a kicker on you?
I do have a kicker.
I'm interested to hear that.
Greg the leg.
It's
Okay.
the easiest one. He kicked you right into the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it's
what was
Greg
that one
Zuerlein.
was the one in New Orleans a 58-yarder?
55.
55?
Yes.
It was a bomb.
We're going to Atlanta, boys.
Yeah.
I'll never forget
Yeah.
that moment. It's
He was
before
a
the
different
call.
stroke, too.
Absolutely, and he
Yeah.
still is
Oh,
a
no.
Wildcat.
Yeah.
All right.
Media days with him were always interesting.
Yeah.
He floats, doesn't he? All right, defensive end or edge?
Or we cut Johnny Hecker, obviously the punter.
Punter?
Of course,
Yeah.
yes. And McQuaid is my long snapper.
Sure.
Yeah, they were the greatest battery I've ever seen. They were so funny. All right, let me jump. So real quick, Robert Quinn. I got Leonard Floyd. I have to put him in there, and Samson Ebukam.
Okay.
I have to
We're
throw
talking
him
about
in.
like edge guys?
Edge guys and defensive
I'm
ends,
gonna take
and then
a page out of Morales' book.
in parenthesis, I have
I
to
think
put
I know where
Jared
you're
Verse.
going. I think I
Yeah.
know where you're going.
Go ahead and
ahead.
say it.
No, go ahead.
Von Miller.
Yeah.
It was short.
I know.
It was
It's
very,
but
very
again,
short.
very
They
impactful.
won the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and he was a big reason
He
why.
had, 2 sacks in the Super Bowl, I think, at least?
And it's Von Miller. It wasn't, yes. but
Was
he
his
always-
contribution more important than Samson Ebukam?
Yes.
For the entire decade,
No.
not just 8 games.
No, but it's Von Miller, and it wasn't like he was just here. He was massively impactful.
Okay, I put him as a what if because he could have re-signed here, and
Yeah.
he chose the money in Buffalo.
Okay.
Just to me, it's the same about Sue.
That's my what if.
Yeah.
See? Okay, so
Because that season, without Sue, Aaron Donald probably doesn't have. How
Here's
many
where-
sacks was it? Ended up?
here's where my
22?
defensive
Yeah.
tackle-ism comes up. So defensive tackles are Aaron Donald, Michael Brockers,
Okay. Sure.
Mr. Solid.
Although Maker Bikers was once very mean to me in the locker room.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Brock? Really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And I put in Ndamukong Suh. 'Cause
You
that
have
was,
to,
that
because-
was the best front I've ever seen
Yes.
in my entire life.
Can I make an argument?
And the
Go ahead.
season after, they really missed Sue not being
Yes.
there.
Sue was here 1 year, and
1
I'm
year.
not saying this guy is as good of a player as Sue because he's not, at least not yet, and we'll see. What about Kobe Turner?
Okay, see, he's on the list. I
Yeah.
need to see this year.
Kobe Turner, 2 years, both 2 very good, or 3. He's finished 2 years.
Right.
This will be year number 3. He's been really good the whole time.
But the line with him and AD was impenetrable. It was incredible.
Okay.
Okay, he's there. You're
Okay.
right. Okay, inside backers, this was tough. Alec Ogletree
Yeah.
was the guy they liked and paid.
Yeah.
Corey Littleton came
Yeah.
out of nowhere, had a great year, signed
Made
with
a
the
Pro
Raiders.
Bowl.
Made a Pro Bowl. Mark Barron is on my list as inside linebackers because he was a hybrid type. He went from weak safety to starting inside linebacker and was pretty damn
We're going to
good.
go over the same argument again.
Okay, go ahead.
The team's was lousy this year, but he wasn't. He's only here for 1 season. What about Bobby Wagner?
It's 1 year.
I know.
It's 1 year. And
He had a pretty
Bo-
great year.
Bob-
though.
Bobby
was
Wagner was the
fantastic.
only guy on that team that was having a monster year that year.
And he belongs to the Seahawks.
And he's going to the Hall of Fame.
yes.
Yeah.
That was a 1 year deal.
I-
It was
I-
weird. I'm right there with
I
you.
think of all the positions on the Rams,
Plus decade, right? Okay.
that the Rams have. I want to find the best way to say this without being disrespectful, but the one that the Rams have emphasized the least, shall we say, I might say care the least about, but emphasize the least, is middle linebacker.
Fair enough. Devalued.
Devalued.
Yes,
Thank
fair
you.
enough. Absolutely. Quarterbacks have gone up. You got to take the money from somewhere. Running backs and linebackers.
Okay.
All right, cornerbacks. Tremaine Johnson.
True, easy.
At one point was
Ramsey,
your guy.
easy.
Jalen Ramsey. Darius Williams is on my list.
I think so, too.
Okay, and the guy that we always forget talking about, and it's not Nickel Roby-Coleman.
Oh, I love Nickel
Slot God was one of the best slot corners we've ever seen. But as far as all-around guy, Troy Hill is on my list.
Go Ducks.
As far as the decade is concerned, absolutely. Marcus
I
Peters.
want to put Nickel Roby-Coleman in there just because I liked him.
Of course. Throw him in there.
And, by the way, got away with the greatest non-call in the history of the NFL. He's got to be on there.
It was not his fault.
Yeah, no, he didn't do anything other than make a play.
Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib are all my greatest what-ifs. If you could have kept that secondary together.
God, that brings back memories of when they wouldn't let Keep Talib to come to Media Day because they were worried he was going to say some
Those
stuff.
two guys in the same backfield.
How long was Marcus Peters here? 2 years?
Just under.
Yeah.
And they got rid of him in the second year.
Really fast.
Yeah.
No doubt. Okay, safety. John Johnson III.
Okay.
Is my number one safety.
I know one name I want to hear. Go keep going.
TJ McDonald is also a guy that we don't talk enough about.
Okay.
Heat-seeking missile.
Okay.
When they say play the ball or the man, he never got that message. He's going through your neck. I love and LaMarcus Jordan.
There it is. Okay.
Took a lot of heat from a lot of people.
LaMarcus was good for the Rams.
Super solid.
Yeah, LaMarcus was good for the Rams.
And a guy I have to give a nod to because of like Von Miller, like Sue, Eric Weddle. Off the couch, right to the Super Bowl.
Torn pec.
For like 1 month, 2
For
months?
1 month.
It was just the playoffs, right?
It was just
Yes.
the playoffs, yeah.
Yeah.
He is the Walker Buehler of Rams. He is always welcome to the party, no matter what. I don't even
I don't
care.
mind it. I don't mind it.
Eric Weddle is that guy.
Another
Jordan
guy
Fuller,
who-
I wish I could put on the list, but
He
got
walked
knocked
in
out.
10 minutes before he walked in. You know what I mean? Another guy, Weddle.
Oil. Never mind.
Wow.
Who's the coach?
Duh.
Well,
And
wait a
one,
minute. Fisher should at least get like one vote.
From himself?
and one last dude for the football files out there, all the coaches. My favorite special teams players. Chase Reynolds.
Okay.
He's a running back in the National Football League for 5 seasons and doesn't have a carry.
That's impressive.
That's how you know you can play special teams.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the guy that changed the course of Rams history, Nick Scott, for blowing up Debo Samuels and becoming a pretty good safety to boot.
Wasn't Nick Scott the guy, too, that had Tom Brady's last interception until Brady decided
Until
to
he
come
came
back
back.
again?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he picked him
Yes.
off in the playoffs, and that was going to be the last one, and then
Yeah.
Brady decided to have one more
Ruined
year.
it. You owe me money. Yes. That's my all-decade team. So a lot of good players, but there's a lot of room for some guys this year. I hope Alaric Jackson can get back out there. He's got the ability. He's got the want to. He just got paid. He could've
14-3, baby.
he could've been one of the
14-3.
best left
I mean,
tackles.
watch out for all of this D line. You got Verse, you got Fisk, you got all these guys that can get
Of
on
the
there.
guys that, if we did this 5 years from now, that you had to be, Verse and Fisk are on that team.
Verse, Fisk, and Kobe Turner.
Yeah.
But you got a
Yeah.
long way to go with
What about
Brock.
Byron Young?
Byron Young is a dude that's, look, he gets lost in the shuffle a lot, and he's learning to be a great pass rusher and a great edge guy. He may be one of those dudes that has 14, 15 sacks based on
Yeah.
the looks that he's not getting because of the other guys.